Welcome to This Week in Sin, edition 14 of 2017. I am Mr. Anderson, the voice of written sins. And give us a subscribe right here on YouTube. And now, onto our list. This Week in Sin. We start off this week, and now mind you, the recap as we do it is going to start in reverse, despite the list being mentioned number one here. We're going in reverse fashion. We start with number 7. Number 7 was the rise from the ashes of a failed Kickstarter. So we could not be prouder of Calb and what he did with Alter Life and what he did by failing publicly and coming back strong and proving that there needed to be a story told like this, which is like Twilight Zone meets the Butterfly Effect meets Sliders. It's just, it is so unique and so fantastic of a story that it needed to be told. And he proved that fact by getting issue number 2 funded. We're very proud of him because he did it with dignity and grace and showed that failure is not a dead end. It's just a bump in the road. Number 6. April splash page winner, Leah Letterman, who I've personally worked with, took the number 6 spot and most viewed for week 14 of 2017. And it's not a surprise Leah had such a strong presence on our site. Leah has worked with so many great creators, and she is, I honestly think, molding indie comics one edit at a time. So she definitely deserved the recognition on the splash page. It was one of those things that once it came to me to nominate her, I once started to wonder to myself why I hadn't nominated her or someone hadn't nominated her yet. And I felt kind of bad about the fact it took us so long, but we got her in here. So we're thrilled to have her. She's just absolutely fantastic. If you need an editor, she is a person to seek out. Now, mind you, all of these have their click here, which corresponds to our site, writtensins.com, and the articles that we ran about all of these. Speaking about articles, here's number 5. A VP at Marvel Comics is blaming diversity for their slump in sales, and here's my take on it. I wrote this one personally, as you can see down here. Just a quick shout out to Mickey Clausen. He did the art that we're using right here as art of the day at one point during the last 6 months, and we decided to use it for Marvel to give him, some notice, some ability to build a fan base, showing how great and fantastic he is at drawing. So big thumbs up to him, and not so much a big thumbs up to Marvel. Marvel keeps disappointing ourselves, and most of you who are watching this now already know the debacle with X-Men. And we covered that story, and I'm sure that story will wind up in next week's, which we'll see in a day, because as I said earlier on the live Facebook, we are a little behind. I know we should be wrapping 15. We will wrap week 15, I promise. But for right now, this is just week 14. But Marvel was a big thing. They blamed diversity. The guy tried to backpedal. In the end of the day, it's not about diversity. I give you my take on it. A lot of people agreed with it. Check it out. Tell me if you did or didn't agree with it in the comments below. Moving on to number 4, WSN News, which got brought back in the last 2 weeks. So we're happy to see it instantly show up in the weekly countdown as most viewed. Lee A. Gooden, I have to go in there and make that A. Apologies for that, uppercase. But Lee A. Gooden is heading to Valor Comics to work on Romney. Romney is a very interesting title from Valor Comics, and I think he's going to do fantastic. He's working with Dan DeMille on the project. Couldn't be happier for that kind of a team up. That's like a definite crossover event and superhero team up of creators. So if you're not into Romney, now is your time to get into it, because they're going to have a fantastic creative team on it. Check it out. Number 3, Claire Vale interview, photo overflow. Okay, so we had Claire Vale do an interview with us. Just a fantastic interview. For anyone who follows these videos, you know that she has been showcased on every video that we've had a weekly countdown, and since her interview hit a few weeks ago. This week, we were able to show some of the outtakes from the original interview that we didn't get to fit in that one interview because we didn't want to cram it, so we always planned to do this. This is entirely her as classic Wonder Woman. You'll notice there is some pictures of her tied up. She's also a fetish model on the side. Everyone who's watching this probably knows I wrote Fetish Babies, so I, of course, have nothing but respect and encourage anything that does with fetish tastefully, and she's obviously a very tasteful and fantastic cosplayer. I think she does wonderful things. I think it's very playful and fun what she does. She really shows off an ability to really, showcase it, and you should really check it out. And speaking of checking her out, number 2 was Claire Vale Interview Overflow Part 2, Wonder Woman in Alternative Costumes. You guys could not get enough of this. These were actually within literal, I think, 3 views between each other. These were the top 2, and there was one thing that beat it in the number 1 position for this, and that was our beginning of Kinky Fridays. Now, most of you know that Kinky Fridays have become Fetish Fridays. This was our first inaugural one. We used her cosplaying picture with her hogtied on it because you guys seem to want this. This is what you guys want from us. We like it because it's cosplay and it's a little bit of fetish. And again, I wrote Fetish Babies. I think it's playful. I think there's a lot of bondage that goes into comic books. There have been a lot of covers with female characters tied up. So I think it's very much a comic book thing to see the heroine tied up on the cover in distress, doing the damsel in distress thing. She's a fantastic cosplayer. You guys should become fans of her. She's a fantastic fetish model as well. Definitely something interesting. That was our top 7 of week 14. We will be back this week with the top, hopefully this week, with the top 7 of week 15 of 2017. It was a great viewing week. Very proud of the numbers, very strong numbers. So thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who shows up to these videos. I love the fact that we're getting so many views. I really do appreciate that. But if you could just do us a favor, subscribe on our YouTube pages. It really does matter that you guys subscribe, not only for the ability to, expand possibly who will follow us, but also just so you can come watch the videos and tell us how we're doing live. We really want to have more of an interaction with a live audience. So we're hoping that we get more subscribers to subscribe and instantly be able to come to onto the video and ask us questions. We want to get to the point where we feel comfortable having a Q&A from the audience when we do Spoken Sins. So we are going to ask that, sorry about that for Facebook audience, I just shake the new monopod. We are asking that we get a lot more subscribers just so we can do Q&As with people that we have on our show, like Spoken Sins. That's it for now. This has been This Week in Sin, week 14 of 2017. I will see you for the recap of 2015. Week 15, 2017.